So I'm not in my usual place. I'm grandmothering for the next 10 days. And it's really late. I have I put my grandson to sleep, so to speak, and he has been up talking to himself quite enjoyably up until like 1 minute ago. It's currently 12:10. It's after midnight. I wanted to make this video earlier, but the space is small and all sound travels, so here we are. Now we're here. I'm currently working on a bag that will be for sale. So what you see me sewing right now is the handle. I'm working on the strap for the bag. And there's some of the up close that's being worked on. And here's the bag. And there's the inside of the bag. So I've been doing hand sewing for a very, very long time in my life, like since I was really young. And I'm actually more proficient, much more proficient hand sewing than I am with a machine. I'm okay with a machine, but hand sewing is where it's at for me. Not everybody values hand sewing. You know, if you think about clothing that you wear and ask yourself, would you prefer to have something hand sewn or something machine sewn? And the kind of hand sewing I'm talking about here is hand sewing that's well done, technically well done, and also visually well done. Would you prefer something hand sewn or machine sewn? You know, a lot of people these days have been trained into the valuing of things that are machine made, and actually have not necessarily had the opportunity to wear something or work with something that's been handmade. Handmade has a very different quality to it. You know, doing this, I have a tactile sense of the materials that I work with. My hands can feel the tension in the thread. My hands can feel the way in which the fabric or the material behaves, and therefore I can adjust my stitch according to what's happening in the textile. You can't do that as easily on a machine. I mean, there is some tactile capacity through a machine, but not the same. When you receive something that's been handmade or hand sewn, not only is there the physical proficiency of the maker in whatever the object is, but there's all the love and all of the intention that's been poured into the actual object. For me, I almost always prefer the handmade. I just can sense and feel the difference. I like the look of something that's been created by hand. And I appreciate what has gone into whatever it is that I'm receiving that's handmade. There's a company that's down in the States where all of the items that they sell have been hand sewn. They hire people who, I think they have 30 contract handcrafters who hand sew the various items that are for sale in their shop. And those artisans get paid a fair wage, which is a rare thing, because even for a simple bag that I'm making, I'm not going to make, when I sell it, it won't come even close in terms of a fair wage. None of what I make by hand comes anywhere close to a fair wage. Why? There isn't a market to sustain it. What I ought to be asking is about $30 to $35 per hour for the craft work. What I make, you don't want to know. Maybe between $1 and $5 an hour, generally speaking, for the things that I've made. This doesn't necessarily include art that is crafted for exhibit, that I make even less if I get paid an exhibitor's fee, and because the ceremonial items that I have are ceremonial, and they're made as talismans, I don't sell them. If somebody commissions me to make them a talisman, then I accept that commission by donation. And the donations vary, depends on the person's understanding of what they're receiving, and also their means or their ability to do an exchange on a financial level. So all of that to say, the work of doing handwork, handcrafting, is incredibly vital, and perhaps that will be another video. Incredibly vital, and yet most of the time undervalued. I encourage you to begin to work with handcrafting yourself, making simple things to start, or if you have access to it, support local artisans, local crafters, by purchasing their goods rather than going to the mass production kind of goods, and feel with your own hands, see with your own eyes the difference between something that's been mass produced and something that's come through the hands and the heart of a maker.